Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba isn't just a beautifully animated series, it's a deeply emotional journey. At the heart of this journey is one boy. One boy with a mark on his head, a box on his back, and a heart so full of compassion that it leaves the audience and his enemies speechless. And that boy, of course, is Kamado Tanjiro. Today is July 14th and it is Kamado Tanjiro's birthday, and I want to talk about the 5 reasons why I love him and why you should love him too. Now, this is not the Tanjiro video essay that I have been promising for a while. That one is still yet to come, but this is a great practice round for me of writing a script and doing a video a little bit more like an essay and less like a yap session like I normally do. So if you enjoy this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment your thoughts on everyone's favorite sunshine boy. Let's start with what defines Tanjiro more than anything else: his kindness and empathy. Now, in most shonen animes, the protagonist is strong, determined, sometimes reckless, and always brave. Now, Tanjiro has all of that. But what makes him stand out to me is his core strength of kindness and empathy. When Tanjiro battles demons, most of the time he does not hate them. There are exceptions to this, and those exceptions are Muzan, Akaza, Hantengu, and he has good reason to hate them. Because the reason he hates those 3 is because of the specific situation that is involved with those 3 demons. Muzan, of course, is the one who killed his family, so of course he's gonna hate him. Akaza is the one who killed Rengoku in front of him. Of course he's going to hate him. And Hantengu is the demon that caused Nezuko to almost die. Of course he hates him. He doesn't just blindly hate, he hates because it's something very important to him that he holds very dearly. But he doesn't necessarily hate them. In fact, he pities them. He mourns their suffering. He tries to send them off into the afterlife and prays for them to be reborn as something not demon. He is able to see the humanity that they once had, and many times it breaks him when he has to end their lives. Remember when he fought the mother spider demon on Mount Natagumo? I actually just watched this episode yesterday, and I forgot how poignant this scene truly is. He doesn't kill her out of rage, even though he just witnessed her murder people in front of him. He's able to sense that she wants to be released, that she's welcoming death, and because of that, he's able to sense that her soul is broken. And he literally changes his form to go from one that might hurt to giving her a death without pain. And that's the moment she is able to thank him and even give him a warning. If Tanjiro wasn't that empathetic of a person, he wouldn't have been warned that there was a member of the 12 Kizuki on this mountain, and it might have changed the trajectory of that entire battle. The scene with the mother spider demon isn't just a beautifully animated scene, it's a revolutionary scene in the show. In a genre and in a show that's kind of built on the idea of good versus evil, Tanjiro goes against that. He doesn't see all of the demons as evil, he sees them as broken people. In fact, he doesn't always even want to fight them. He has to, and he will because he knows what his job is, but he only fights because he has to. And even then, his blade is never fueled by hatred. It's fueled by his love for his family, his love for Nezuko. His kindness is not a weakness. It's actually his greatest strength that helps him out in battles many times. In a world filled with bloodshed, it's what makes him shine brightest. Tanjiro's journey isn't just about fighting demons. It's about enduring pain, in both the physical and the emotional capacity. From the very first episode, we see a boy who's quite literally lost everything. His entire family is slaughtered. His sister, the sole survivor, is turned into a demon. But instead of falling apart, he chooses to stand. It's not always easy though. Tanjiro doesn't become a Hashira overnight. He trains, he bleeds. He trains so hard that the calluses on his hands don't even go away. He fails a lot. He cries a lot. The weight of responsibility crushes him, but he chooses to carry it anyway. I think one of the most powerful things about Tanjiro is how human his struggles are. He doubts himself. We all doubt ourselves. He collapses. He gets injured more than almost any anime character I can think of in recent anime. Feel free to correct me on that one though. He gets injured a lot, but he never gives up. And I don't think it's in a plot armor cliche way, but it's a very raw and grounded way that reminds you that pain is real, but it doesn't make you weak. But Tanjiro's struggles aren't just the physical type. They are the mental type. Tanjiro isn't some saintly moral Jesus figure that just always makes the right decision, always shows kindness, and gives out love to everyone. Yes, he is kind, but he's also flawed. He gets angry. He loses his temper. He sees red. He's been reckless, especially when it comes to Nezuko. There are moments when he lashes out at others or refuses to hear them out because simply they are challenging his belief in her. His love for Nezuko oftentimes clouds his judgment. He can become defensive, he can become confrontational, and sometimes he can become very indecisive when she's in danger or being questioned. But that's what makes him so real. He's not some untouchable hero that always makes the perfect choice. He wants to do the right thing, but he doesn't always know what that is, especially when emotions are high. I mean, he is a 15-year-old kid after all. And honestly, that is quite refreshing because real people aren't perfect. We react. We make the wrong call. We hurt people even when we don't intend to. And Tanjiro does all of those things while still trying to do the right thing. Tanjiro earns every inch of the strength that he has. We see him train, we see him bleed, we see him sweat, we see him collapse while training. And he also deserves every drop of respect from the Hashira, from the other demon slayers, from the master. Every scar on his body is a story of survival. Every emotional misstep is a reminder that his growth isn't always linear. His struggle isn't just physical, it's moral, it's emotional, and it's very personal. We can root for him not because he's this super strong, unbeatable figure in the universe. We root for him because he's breakable, but he gets back up anyway. This is the emotional core of Demon Slayer. Everything Tanjiro does, and I mean everything, is for Nezuko. From the very first episode, he makes a vow that he will save her, that he will turn her back into a human. And that promise drives him through the entire story, through every battle, every injury, every mission. That's what he's thinking of. Tanjiro is a protective big brother that just wants what's best for his sister, even when it can bleed into him wanting what's best for him because he does just want a life with her, which is something that I love about him as well. But at the end of the day, his goals are all about her. And what makes their relationship so powerful for me is that I see a lot of my own relationship with my siblings in it. I'm the youngest sibling, but I was homeschooled and I lived a very sheltered life, and I was very close with my sisters. And all of their tender moments, the head pats, the protective hugs, the way Nezuko smiles at him when she sees him, it all reminds me of my own childhood. Obviously, I was not in a situation like them. I didn't lose my entire family, and I'm the youngest, so I was the one being protected. However, their relationship is the perfect depiction of a family who was raised, sheltered, and homeschooled, and that's what they had growing up. So they're a little bit closer than some siblings, but it never crosses a line like many other animes, if you know what I mean. But Tanjiro's protectiveness isn't controlling, it's nurturing. He believes in her and he gives her agency, even when others don't, like the Demon Slayers, or when Rui tries to take her. Yes, Tanjiro fights because he doesn't want Nezuko to end up with Rui, but he also is fighting for her choice. When he decides to take her with him instead of leaving her with Tamayo and Yushiro, it's because she obviously was choosing to stay with him. When Rui is trying to take her, he is fighting for her choice. He says she's not just something that they can bargain. She's someone with feelings and a choice. And he always remembers that even though she maybe doesn't talk anymore, or that she's kind of reverted back to a toddler type state a lot of the times, she still gets to decide what she does and what she doesn't do. His love for Nezuko is one of the things that, for me, sets Tanjiro apart from many other shonen anime protagonists. His ultimate goal isn't power, and it isn't about him. It's to turn Nezuko into a human. His ultimate goal is about healing. He doesn't want to become a Hashira. He doesn't dream of being the strongest. He doesn't care about rank. He didn't even know about it until Entertainment District. He doesn't care about status. He doesn't care about fame. All of those things, his training, his fights, his physical growth, those are just stepping stones. They are tools to accomplish the actual mission of turning Nezuko back into a human. And it's kind of refreshing because you can compare that to characters like Naruto or Deku, whose ambitions, while noble, and I love both of those sweet boys, their ambitions are ultimately to become something. The Hokage, the #1 hero. Tanjiro, in contrast, his goal is to return to something. He wants a peaceful life. He wants to go back to the life that he had, even though he can't have it. He wants his family reunited. It's not a climb towards greatness. It's a struggle to restore what was lost. That's a rare goal in anime, and one that makes his journey feel a lot more personal, maybe even humble. And that's why every battle feels so emotionally loaded. Because for Tanjiro, fighting isn't a means of proving himself. It's not a means of getting to the end goal of being the best. It's just the only way to save the only person he has left. Trauma in anime is often loud, in your face, explosive, full of screaming and crying and raging and lashing out, which Tanjiro does quite often. However, Tanjiro's trauma and his response to trauma is different. It's quiet. It's internal. It's not in your face. It's the kind of grief that doesn't always scream. It whispers. Something that I often see from people who don't love Tanjiro or try and argue that he's not a well-written character is the fact that it doesn't seem like he ever grieves his family. But in my opinion, if you feel that way, you should just rewatch the show because you obviously weren't paying very close attention. I know, maybe that's a little bit tough, but hear me out. Tanjiro represents a way of handling trauma, because trauma is not one size fits all. In fact, many characters within Demon Slayer have a very shared backstory, Tanjiro included, and all of them handle it in a very different way. Consider Sanemi, for example. Sanemi is the person that has the most similar backstory to Tanjiro, but he has the most opposite personality. And that's the perfect example of how a certain kind of trauma can affect people differently. Tanjiro was raised the eldest of many siblings with a terminally ill father. He was raised in a way where he was taught that when bad things happen, you push it down. You put on a brave face. You smile, and you're there for the people who rely on you. And that's what he's doing the entire story. Not only because he was raised that way, but because when he stopped to grieve, when he stopped to beg, he was told to not do that. And he is a very impressionable boy who listens to the people around him. Tanjiro is grieving his family, but he carries that grief with sorrow, not with anger. He doesn't talk about his pain constantly, which I think some people will just want him to. But his pain is always there, and we can kind of see it as an audience if we look closely. Sometimes he just stares off into the distance. When someone mentions his family, you see a visible change in his demeanor, whether it be just a small flinch, whether his eyebrows raise, whether he starts to shake a little bit. We see it when he panics about Nezuko. I mean, we don't need to talk about the end of Swordsmith Village, right? We all can agree that that was all of his grief at once. right? And that's kind of the most painful part, is he never allows himself to fully rest. He has to keep going for her. And I think that's because deep down he feels responsible. He might at the end of the day know it's not his fault, but he still feels like it is. And because of that, he knows he has to keep moving forward. Tanjiro represents a kind of trauma we don't often see in fiction. It's a very quiet kind. If you blink, you miss it. It's the kind people live with silently. It doesn't demand attention, but it shapes everything we do. This trauma isn't a spectacle, it's a shadow. It's always there, it's always lingering. I think we can all feel that in some ways. Tanjiro doesn't always seek revenge. He seeks healing, and not just for Nezuko, but for himself. But healing, in his case, isn't really about erasing what happened. It's about learning how to carry it. This very subtle, restrained depiction is deeply relatable for anyone who's carried that grief quietly, if you're someone who has to for other people. For anyone who's smiled in the middle of pain, Tanjiro shows us that strength isn't always loud. It's sometimes soft, and sometimes it's just waking up every day and choosing to keep going.
禰豆子を抱えての移動じゃ間に合わないこれが夢だったらよかったのにいつだって鬼殺隊はお前らに有利な夜の闇の中で戦っているんだ生身の人間がな
Let's talk about something that is often overlooked in the world of anime and makes a big, big difference. His voice. Tanjiro is voiced by Natsuki Hanai, or Hanai Natsuki-san, in the Japanese version, and it's nothing short of a masterclass in voice acting. In fact, if I had an opportunity to learn about voice acting from this man, you know I would take it. Every line, every scream, every laugh, every whisper, you feel it, and it's a wide range of emotions. His voice has this warmth to it. It's gentle, it's soft, it's pure, but it's capable of anger and emotion, and it's very raw. Something that I always find so surprising is the way in just one episode he can go from speaking softly to Nezuko or speaking softly to a friend and being kind to screaming and shouting at a demon, and it all makes sense, and you all feel every bit of it. When Tanjiro cries, you believe him. You feel like he's actually crying in the studio. When he's begging on his knees, you're aching with him because you feel that ache in his voice. His voice isn't just a performance. There's a connection, and we are so blessed that Natsuki Hanai is the voice of Tanjiro, because every new content we get, we can be all-knowing that it's going to be amazing. When Tanjiro is quiet, it's quiet, but it's not a forced quiet. When Tanjiro is loud, it's loud, but it's not a forced loud. Somehow everything cohesively works, even though the range of emotions that we feel, sometimes within just a span of 10 minutes, can go from anger and pain and sadness to joy and love and happiness. And it's all connected perfectly. There's a reason why when I cry over Demon Slayer, it usually has to do with Tanjiro's emotions. And part of that is I genuinely feel like someone is crying in front of me. His voice carries his entire soul, and you can feel every ounce of it. So there are my top 5 reasons as to why I love Tanjiro Kamado. This was a little bit more artsy, this was a little bit more different than I normally do, so again, let me know if you enjoyed it. There is a full-length, probably over hour-long video essay coming your way sometime this year. I promise it'll come. I just want to do it justice because Tanjiro is a character that is so dear to me, so be on the lookout for that. But if you liked today's video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment your thoughts on our boy. And I will see you all in the next video. Mata ne!